What is Jed's play here if things go bad?
That is the conundrum at the end of the year. What will Jed do? Jed's going to have to look at the situation and really judge for himself. Is this situation tenable going forward? Can we, in fact, move forward with Kyle Shanahan as the head coach and be successful? And I start to ask myself, if I were Jed York, what are the criteria that I would use to determine if anyone within the organization needs to bear responsibility for this season if it continues to go badly? Obviously, if it turns around, people will forget this bad start. If the 49ers make the playoffs, I think that probably erases most of the doubts for the organization and for a vast majority of the fans in particular after a 2-3 start. I would think that in that scenario, that's the cleanest way for both Kyle and John Lynch to make it through safely to next season. Just make the playoffs.
Well, here's how I see this going, man. I'm very clear about this. I think this is what's going to happen. Okay. If they miss the playoffs here and Kyle keeps going on with really not showing anything with Trey Lance and pretty much putting him on the back burner until next year, and there's not a clear reason for hope going forward. If that's what happens, I'm not sure they'll fire Kyle.
Okay.
Because I don't know if the fans will want that. I'm not sure. But what I think Jed would do and probably should do and needs to do is fire John Lynch. I think that's a start. And it's not that it's John Lynch's fault. It's that whatever the arrangement is in terms of personnel acquisition, it's not good enough. Because if they miss the playoffs this year, it's because Kittle was hurt, Mostert was hurt, Verrett was hurt, Jimmy was hurt. All the players who are always hurt were hurt again. And it's like year 5 of whatever you tried to do, it doesn't work. Meanwhile, look at Les Snead and the Rams. Good roster. Look at Steve Keim and the Cardinals. Good roster. Those are legit GMs, not like former players who were announcers and then decided to dabble. Like, no. These are career personnel men. So if Jed wants to shake something up, it's fire Lynch. Bring in a really respected personnel guy from a good team to be Kyle's boss. And not even that. To make a decision, you can keep Kyle or you can replace Kyle. It's up to you. I give you whatever you want to do. And if Kyle likes you and you like Kyle and you have a good relationship and you can work together like Les Snead and Sean McVay do, that's your choice. But if Kyle's lukewarm and you're lukewarm on him, we'll trade him and we'll get our first round picks back. That's what I think. You bring in a strong general manager and let him decide.
I agree with the idea of needing to bring in that strong general man. If things go badly, let me put that preface out there.
Right, they could still make the playoffs.
They could. If things go badly, needing to make some change that changes the dynamic within the organization.
Who fixes the injury-prone roster and really runs this like an NFL team as opposed to like a Madden franchise or something.
Right, because this is the first year where those injuries were clearly as a result of specific decisions that the 49ers made consciously of basing a large percentage of your offense around a player who is, yes, one of the fastest in the NFL and also someone who gets hurt pretty frequently. And then, surprise, Raheem Mostert gets injured. Not a real shocker there, right? You lose a large percentage of your offense. You don't have someone to replace it. Your number one option at cornerback, right? Yes, you invested in him. He was a free agent acquisition. You spent some draft picks on bringing in cornerbacks. You addressed it, but you addressed it poorly. And so I think it's fair for fans to start asking these questions. And I think that Jed needs to be asking it as well. The point where I would differ from you is I don't think you can give the new GM the option of letting Kyle go, because if that gets out, you've just now cut the legs out from under Kyle. So I think you have to bring in a GM and let him know, hey, you are the GM of this franchise. It is not a figurehead role for you. You come in, you control the draft, you control personnel decisions, and you control the final say in everything a GM should within the league. And you're going to work with Kyle to begin with. If things go poorly, we will move on from Kyle and you'll be able to select his replacement. That would seem to me to be an ideal sort of a scenario, because as much as I like John Lynch, someone has to answer for the roster at some point.
What if Kyle doesn't like the guy? What if Kyle's like, I can't work with this guy?
That's a fair question.
I think, you know what I'm saying? Because at that point, it's like, well, you got to go then.
Yeah, at that point, that's on Kyle. That's on Kyle forcing himself out of there. But that would be a circus, right? Can you imagine what 49ers fans would go through if that's what ends up happening, where you bring in someone new and then Kyle gets upset and now Kyle's gone? Ooh, it would be a meltdown. But I think that even if the 49ers make the playoffs, you have to wonder if you don't see anything from Banks, Sermon, Ambry Thomas. I have to wonder if at some point Lynch has to answer for a lot of the failures that may not be entirely his fault, but to this point, the numbers are adding up, right? The mistakes are compiling upon themselves, and it truly
Ayuk's
is
another
hurting
one.
them.
Ayuk's another one. Kinlaw's
Yeah.
not looking good. I mean, dude,